Hi everyone, it's the spiritual whistleblower here with another video on narcissistic abuse. Specifically, we're talking triangulation. This is a very important video. If you are a mother, father, you have children, and your family, your parents specifically are narcissists, you need to watch this video because when your parents are narcissists and you have children, they will work overtime to turn your children against you. So I'm going to show you in this video the process of how they will attempt to break your children down to turn them into narcissists, okay? So this is about toxic, narcissistic grandparents, okay? And if you are not on top of your children, because I know a lot of y'all want your children, even though you have a sour relationship with your mother and father, you will try to relive that through your children. So you will allow your children to build a relationship with your toxic mother and father, not realizing that your mother and father, the grandparents, are destroying your relationship with your child right underneath your nose. So you want to pay attention to this video. Before I get into the details, again, I have a brand new book, My Family Can Kiss My Ass. It's available worldwide. It's on Amazon, Kindle. The audio is coming out the end of this month. You guys stay tuned for that. I will announce that. But I specifically talk about triangulation with your family members in this book. And also I have another book called Protecting the Pawn, How to Co-Parent with a Narcissist. I also talk about triangulation with your family and the in-laws in that book. So I have two books that speak on triangulation when it comes to your children and family members, okay? Get this book now. I will have the link pinned on my Instagram page. You can purchase the book by clicking the link in my bio. Okay, as always, it's holiday time. It's hard. If you need some coaching because you're going through depression from dealing with your narcissistic family, your parents, your baby daddy, baby mother, please set up an appointment, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, and I do in-person sessions. Okay, guys, I love you and I want to see the best for you. Now let's get into this video on triangulation. Okay, so here we go. I've already set up the entire triangle. The triangle has 3 points. At the first point is you. You are the parent. Okay? You are the parent. The second point, this is the grandparent. This is the narcissist. Whether it's your mother, the grandmother, or the grandfather, they are narcissists. Okay? So this is the grandparent role. The third role will be your children. Whether you have one child or you have multiple children, your children will go into this third point. Now, I have here narc and empath because I'm going to discuss two scenarios. When your child is innocent and the child is an empath and they don't realize they're being abused. And the other side of the coin is, you know, when your child starts to, I can't talk, when your child starts to actually display traits of narcissistic behavior and when to catch it, because you got to catch it early, you got to clamp down, you got to get your baby into therapy, and you've got to cut off everyone toxic, even your parents, before they ruin your fucking child. Now, y'all want to play if you want to. You've spent your entire life dealing with toxic family. You've been in and out of toxic relationships. Now you have children. It is your responsibility to make sure that your child does not turn into a fucking narcissist. Because as soon as your child becomes a teenager or a young adult, they're ruined. And then you're going to be kicking yourself. And I hate to come down on y'all like this, but I'm sick and tired of hearing these stories. You are in control of what your child has access to. If you were fucking abused as a child by your motherfucking family, why would you put your child in that same position to be exposed by to the very same people that abused you? Oh, just because they're being nice to your child and spoiling your child, you think they're going to change? Spoiling a child turns them into a narcissist. Dropping your children off, knowing your mother and father are fucking toxic while you're at work. Guess what they're doing while you're at work? They're programming your children and turning them against you, teaching them how to manipulate you, teaching your children how to disrespect you. Why the fuck would you send your children into the hands of the people that abused you. Make it make sense. We got to stop, y'all. Because I can't stand to hear stories of child abuse. Just because they don't lay a finger on your child does not mean that they are not abusing. Emotional abuse is invisible. It is insidious. It is covert. And every time you leave your child alone with your narcissistic mother or father, they are programming your child. You are passing down the same trauma that was passed down to you. You're passing it on to your child. And when your child becomes a teenager and they start popping off at the mouth, disrespecting you, don't go crying victim when you had the power to control who has access to your child. Yeah, babysitting is hard. You drop your kids off to your parents' house because, and your parents are still going to charge you. Narcissists do not babysit their grandchildren for free, honey. They're money hungry. So you still got to pay money, but you're trying to cut corners because regular daycare is expensive. Let me tell you something. You better find another way. You better find another fucking way before you ruin your children, exposing them to the very same fucking people that abused you in your childhood. I don't want to hear no excuses. Because I was a single black woman living in the toughest city in the world, New York City. I was homeless on the streets with a baby on my hip, a baby with special needs. Yeah, I struggled. Yeah, it was tough financially, but I said I refuse to go back into the fire. I'm not returning back to my mother, my family. I don't want my child around any of them. Because I know what they would do. They would turn my baby against me. So y'all pay attention to this video because it's tough love. If you get offended, get the fuck off my page. Because you're a part of the problem. When your child comes out narcissistic and fucked up, you're going to be the problem. I'm blaming you. Don't go to crying about your family when you had the power to control what your child is exposed to. You had the power to put your child in therapy to reverse everything they've been exposed to, and you delayed putting your child in therapy. But you want to keep bringing them around your abusive mother and father. Shut the fuck up and get off this goddamn page if you're not ready for this fucking medicine I'm about to give you. This is tough love. We got to break these generational curses. You don't bring a child into this world and you put them around or put them in the same room of the people that abused you. Cut it out. Cut it out. Let me knock some sense into y'all. So here we go. You are the parent. The grandparents are the abusers, the narcissists. And then the third point, the third role is your child. When your children are small, babies, small children, kindergarten age, up into they're tweens, 10, 11. The goal of the narcissistic mother or father, the grandparent, is to turn the child against you. How do they do that? Well, like I just stated, you having a hidden resentment towards your mother and father for abusing you, you think that by reliving, because let's keep it real, you are living vicariously through your baby, your children. And you so desperately wanting that validation from your mother and father. Sirens. You're an adult and you're still craving that closure, that validation from mommy and daddy. And they're not going to fucking give it to you. So what do? You put your children in the presence of your parents. And you want your children to bond with your parents, knowing your parents are fucking abusive. And yeah, grandparents, when they're narcissistic, they're going to spoil the fuck out your children. Why? Because that's what love bombing is. They love bomb. They're repeating the cycle. They're just doing it to your children now. They got to love bomb the babies to build a tight bond with your babies. They will overcompensate because they know they were shitty. They treated you like garbage your entire childhood. So now they get a second chance. But this time around, they're going to abuse their grandchildren. They're just going to do it in a very sneaky way. Spoiling a child way too much creates a monster. As that child becomes older, they become more self-entitled because your mother and father have given them too much. And because you keep dropping them off to your mother and fathers to babysit while you're at work, they're sitting there spoiling your child, teaching your child how to manipulate you, teaching your child how to talk back to you. Oh, mommy did that to you? Well, whenever mommy does that to you, you come and tell grandma. You know what? Grandma gonna buy you a cell phone. You text grandma every time your mommy's getting on your nerves. You go in the bathroom and you text grandma and you tell me, and grandma gonna come get you. Grandma gonna send you money. This is what your fucking parents are doing to your children. They're programming and mind fucking them right underneath your nose. This is when they're small. Your children should have no access to your toxic family members. They didn't stop abusing. They're just more manipulative and more skillful now that you have children. They're going to get to you through your children. If you do not put a stop to it, your children will then become teenagers, and you're going to start to see slowly but surely narcissistic behaviors in your teenagers. Your parents have done an excellent job at grooming your children right underneath your nose. Now your daughter or son is 21, 22, and they're full-blown narcissists, and they're treating you funny, and they're helping your parents spy and keep tabs on you. Your own child has betrayed you, and you don't understand, where did you go wrong? Oh, I'm gonna tell you where the fuck you went wrong. You let your original abuser, your mother and father, have too much access to your fucking child. I kept my child away. My daughter has not seen my mother in over 15 years. I refuse. Me and my daughter had hard times, so we got through it, and we have a very peaceful house, so my daughter does not fuck with none of my family. Y'all need to smarten up. If you got small children, you better get hip to the game. If you plan on breaking generational curses, do not allow the same people that fucking abused you, don't allow them near your children. Because when your child turns into a narcissist, and baby, I'm talking about 13 and 14. Oh yeah, because you got to remember, when your children leave your household and they go to school, they're going to get around other narcissists. Oh, there's children in your child's classroom that are sociopaths, psychopaths in the fucking making. So your children are also exposed to outside sources that are going to contribute to their narcissistic behaviors that your parents have already been programming. Wise up, y'all. If we are going to break generational curses, you've got to start training your children, teaching your children. I'm coming out with a children's book about narc abuse. Teach your children, because the schools ain't teaching them shit. Nobody's teaching they're setting our children up for failure. And at least you have control in your own household of who can get to your child. Don't let your motherfucking mother and father around your children when they have nearly fucking destroyed you. Why would you do that? Because you're struggling financially and you need a fucking babysitter? Find another goddamn way and make it happen and protect your children and cut this shit. Yo, I need to do a part 2 because I'm trembling right now. I have a low tolerance for bullshit. I hate child abusers. Your parents are child abusers. They started with you, and they're going to end it with your children if you don't wake the fuck up.